Hello and welcome to the Education on Fire podcast. The place where we share creative and inspiring learning in our schools. Season 2, Episode 18. Hello and welcome back to the Education on Fire podcast with me, Mark Taylor. Thanks very much. This is the third episode this week from our live recordings that we did at the BET show, which was in Excel in London just slightly earlier in the year. And just a little bit about BET. Their mission is basically to bring people, ideas, practices and technologies together so that educators and learners can fulfill their potential. And it really is just a very large-scale event, kind of like a conference in lots of ways, where there are lots of exhibitors, lots of teachers and lots of people in education just coming to see all the latest things that are available for schools to really sort of enhance their learning. And it is a fabulous event, and I hope you've enjoyed these interviews, especially bearing in mind they're on location, so they're out of the studio, so therefore the recordings are a much harder thing to do. But I really appreciate you listening, and this one finally this week is from Tynker.com, which is Tynker.com, and this is all about coding for kids. So hello and welcome back to Education on Fire. I'm at BET here with Srini Manyam, who's the co-founder and CTO of Tynker, which I have to say has probably the best display of anything that's actually here at the event, which has got just a cage with 2 or 3 drones in the middle of it, which are all flying around, and you can just see it for miles around, and it's a spectacular thing. So welcome to the podcast. So can you just give us a little bit of background about what Tynker is and how it was set up and sort of the origins of it?
Sure. My co-founders and I founded Tynker about 4 years ago now. And we started in California. Basically, we wanted to get a platform going where it was something really fun for our own kids to learn coding. Pretty quickly we found out that there was a pent-up demand in schools and in homes where people wanted to learn coding, but they tried other things and they weren't as fun. So they started picking up on our learning platform. And right now we have millions of kids using it. Specifically about 46 million kids use Tynker, and we are in more than 60,000 schools worldwide.
That's fantastic. So you really are a global company.
That's right.
And I hear this quite a lot. The best projects, the best companies, the best situations start by, we need to do this for our kids or for the people that I'm involved in or the school that I'm teaching in. There's something out there which I can't quite actually I can't find it anywhere else, but I'm going to do it myself. And I think from there you've got the origins of a really great start, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely need-based. And so, one of the things is, when I learned programming when I was, I don't know, like in 6th or 7th grade, I had this little calculator thing that my dad brought back. And then after that, I also learned some coding on the BBC Micro, right?
Yep.
And the basic and everything, right? But then, that wasn't really... That was great for me. I mean, like print my name backwards or something like that. But, if I want to sit with my son or my daughter right now, and if I show them the same thing, because of all the choices they have, I mean, they just get bored and say, oh, can I go back to playing, right?
Sure.
So we wanted to do something really interesting. So with Tynker, what we've done is we come up with these little coding games, and there's actually a scenario. You're lost in space, and you need to get back to your moon base. And the only way you do that is with a few code blocks. Or you're programming a little candy troll to go find candy. Or you're programming a dragon to hunt for treasure. So all of these scenarios that we do as puzzle sets, those things engage kids a lot more than, something like, let's print the first 10 numbers backwards or something like
Sure.
that. That's what we did on those little calculators.
Yeah, and as you can hear as we're talking, that we're talking about literally moving a character a couple of paces to get a bit of candy, which is something
Right.
I've seen as well. And also, you showed me in the space of about 5 minutes how to do some programming to get a drone to be flying around. So you really do cater from the youngest
children all the way through to adults on, I guess.
That's right. Right now, our blocks they have a little bit of text on it, so they need to know how to read. So maybe at around 6 or 7 years old, when they can read words like walk, jump, and so those are sort of the basic things that we need them to know. So they need to be able to read. As long as they can do that, then they're ready to start putting them together. So they connect them like Lego blocks, and the sequencing is important. So if there's a walk, jump, that means your character will do whatever you tell it to do. And so we keep building on that with more complex programming constructs like a loop or a function or a variable. So one approach is puzzle-based learning. The other thing is that our goal is to help them become makers, right? So there are all these do-it-yourself hands-on projects. So we tell them like, okay, make your own greeting card or make your own weather application. So all these little things that we give them as hands-on projects, that's what makes them apply their skills that they've learned and actually use it in a real project.
Sure, rather than it just being this is the activity for today and you have to be able to do this and this, it's that kind of, now you've got the skills, having shown you a scenario, now you create your own scenario and away you go.
Right. So there's a lot of intrinsic motivation with coding because you're very satisfied when you build something and it's your own and you can share it with your friends and parents and family and everybody, right? But Tynker also has sort of a game-based learning system. So they earn points and they earn, there's daily missions where you get double points and, they can earn characters, unlock things. So all of those things put together, I mean, it's really a lot more fun than, just being given a tool and saying, okay, this is coding, go figure it out.
Absolutely.
So we just want to focus more on the sort of the curriculum side of things.
And I think that's it, isn't it? It's we all know that when kids are inspired, when they're interested, when they feel like they've got the creativity and the space within the creativity to it. So you've got the framework, but within that, they've got the creativity and the space to be able to create in a way that they want and then express themselves in a way that they want. And that's essentially what learning is, because I guess we're also teaching kids to do things that we don't know what they're going to be yet, because they're going to be the grown-ups that are going to be coding and creating projects for the future. Right,
absolutely. I think if you look at where things are going, I mean, technology is in every part of whatever we see around us, right? I mean, so jobs are getting replaced. It's not like we want to scare the kids into saying, oh, you have to learn coding or something. So it's more like, we want them to be aware of things and that they can change the world around them with technology, right? I mean, maybe 10 years ago, if we were talking about self-driving cars, I mean, we would be laughing, right? But right now, it's almost a reality.
It is, and
right?
and in one of the places I live near, they're already talking about that, about very much in terms of trialing that sort of thing. Because Milton Keynes, which is quite close to where I live, is based on a grid system. It's a very American-looking kind of new town, and for exactly that reason, I think they're the sorts of places that they're sort of really sort of trialing those sorts of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, so we have all these drone deliveries, and like a lot of automation is going on. I don't know, I just heard an argument like, oh, well, if everything is getting automated, why do we need to teach them to code, right? I mean, so the answer to that is somebody has to write all that, right? I mean, somebody has to write the code for the self-driving cars. So
absolutely,
that'll be our kids. I mean, that's what we need to make sure that they're makers. They need to know that they can innovate. They need to know that it's really easy and and they can do it, right?
And so following on from that sort of approach, the early years of kind of doing the drag and drop blocks and the building those early things. So how far through can you take that? Does it take you all the way through to actual coding and actual coding programs as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tynker starts from these little coding puzzles when you're maybe kindergarten through second or third grade. And then we have a grade-based curriculum for every grade all the way up to 8th grade based on visual blocks. But if your kids, like students, are sort of, like much more advanced and they've done a lot of visual coding and they get it, we also have JavaScript and Python courses that we've just launched. And so they can get into real text coding and build, online games and things like that.
Yeah, and then you really are away, aren't you, then, in terms of that whole world opens up to you in terms of creating whatever
absolutely.
It sounds brilliant. And you just mentioned there about the curriculum and stuff. So can you just describe some of the resources that are available for teachers and the accessibility for schools and teachers based on it?
Sure. When you go to Tynker.com, I mean, you will see that we have a home product and a school product. So if you sort of click into the school side of things, that's where we have a free 6-hour curriculum for teachers. And all they have to do is sign up as a teacher on www.tynker.com, and then they have a curriculum. And the important thing is that for teachers, if they use G Suite or Google Classroom, all they have to do is click a button, and all their kids are automatically imported, and a classroom is created for you. So they can create classrooms, and then there's a lot of support things that we've done, like for example you can import your roster, and we have large districts who have APIs so that when students move between classrooms, that sort of syncing can happen every day, like nightly syncs. So there's a lot of advanced features for classroom management that we've built. And then there's also lesson plans and detailed curriculum. And that's the core of what we do. I mean, we have a game-based curriculum. So every hour where a teacher meets with a set of students in their class, they can actually start off with puzzles, and we teach the teachers what they need to say so that they don't find it alien to teach coding, right? Because we're asking all these teachers to teach programming, and they haven't had any formal programming experience themselves. So we've made it such that it's sort of for absolute beginners, both teachers and the students. And these lesson plans are detailed, and then we have answer keys and solutions, and we also help with the grading and assessment and mastery charts. So it's like a whole system of learning.
So once you're involved, you can really just take it wherever you need it to go, really, and just follow the whole thing through, and have the support and the understanding of actually you're supported, you've got the resources there, and
right,
and it can take you, like I say, from kindergarten all the way through, or here in the UK from nursery all the way through into your secondary.
That's right. So you could start using our free products, and so the tools are all always free. So there's nothing that we charge for, and teachers are welcome to build their own lesson plans and use them. And it's of course free forever. But what we charge for is our own curriculum. So we do have a grade based curriculum, and there's a lot of work in building the curriculum. So we have to map it to standards, and that we get it reviewed by a number of people in the educational community, and it's a lot of effort. So that's the paid part, and then there's also assessment. So the other things that we've also done is we also work with some of these hardware devices like drones and Lego Vidu, and that also has been interesting for teachers recently.
Yeah, so you've got the software and all the back end stuff in order to do that, and the coding side of it, and it's that then approach of just being involved, like say whether it's a drone or Lego organization, to be able to then use that to then make it visual, I guess, and to actually create something to happen.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, we believe strongly that learning is better if we are teaching the kids where their interests lie. So if kids are interested in playing Minecraft, then you can mod Minecraft and build games on Minecraft using code with Tynker. If kids are interested in flying drones, we sort of use that passion to have them, program a flight path, pick up ice cubes, right, and things like that using a drone. And again, they can, for example, imagine that there's a project with a Lego Vidu kit where there's a windmill, and it just recognizes the speed of wind in London and rotates it accordingly, right? I mean, if it's windy, then you see that, or some lights blink. So things like that, which is more real time, which you can do with coding and Lego put together.
Yep.
So those are the kind of projects that are really interesting. That you can do a lot with code there.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And
Yeah.
and I should say here specifically, you're here with Parrot, and that's where the drone side of it came in order to be able to see how this code then fitted in order to make it like you say it comes off the floor, it turns round, it opens and closes its pincers. I mean, all sorts of things which you showed me very quickly. I mean, it's, and it's great, and it really you can really just see all that thing come together, and I can see why kids really love that whole concept.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the drone is one of the most fun things in the classroom, right? So I think if you take a look at, like all these kids, they love when they see the thing fly and it's always accelerating. And we want to use that passion to kind of tell them, okay, make a pattern in the sky, or, take a picture and, bring it into your program. All of these things are possible with drones.
And I think the key really is for us just to get across that it's sparking that inspiration and the coding.
Absolutely.
And all that there is just how you're going about doing that, and that really is key for absolutely everything. That's
that's exactly
intrinsically for education per se, and that whole sort of thing. So
Right.
if teachers over here in the UK want to get involved, then it's just a question to go into your website, as you said. That's where they need to just go first.
That's basically it. I mean, so we have about 2,000 schools in the UK using Tynker today, they just start off and use all our free services, and then if they're interested in a curriculum, then they can always get access to that, and you just send us an email, and we're pretty fast in responding.
Great. So if there's any schools that are listening, either in the UK or the US or wherever you are around the world, get in contact and let us know your experience from the teacher and the school's point of view, because it'd be great just to sort of have both sides of that coin. And you can get, if you go to educationonfire.com and just underneath this podcast, just go into the comments and just leave a few things, and we can have a conversation about exactly the different types of ways that you've been using it and how your students are loving the whole process. That'd be fantastic. So thanks very much for chatting to me today. It's been really great to see it in action, and really great to talk to you. You can just sort of feel the passion for what you're doing coming through, and it's really great. And I wish you another great couple of days while you're still here in London.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Education on Fire podcast. For more information, please go to educationonfire.com.